Okay, so everybody is talking about Clawdbot as if it's the next biggest thing in AI. It's what's going to push us towards AGI, and it's the thing with which you can do anything and everything. But what is Clawdbot? Actually, I'm going to explain that to you in the next 2 minutes in the simplest way possible in plain English for normal people, and you can then figure out if it has a use case for you in your business or whatever it is that you do. And I'm going to be explaining this through this very simple analogy, and you're going to fully understand what it actually is, what it does, and what it can do, and the difference between all these different things in just the next 1 or 2 minutes, right? So the analogy that I'm going to use is if you're actually going to a doctor, right? Let's start at the foundational level, right? Which is the actual brain. So the model, which is the brain in this example's case, is essentially the doctor's brain only. It possesses, let's say, vast medical knowledge, but has no body, no senses, no way to communicate, and no tools. And it can't really interact with the patient as well. It's basically just like a brain in a jar like that, right? And in the AI world, it's basically these foundational models, for example, Claude Opus, GPT-4, all these things that actually power the tools that you probably use, like ChatGPT, like Claude, all these kind of things, right? So that's the brain level of it. That's probably level one. That is level one, right? And then we have the chat interface. This is basically, if you put the doctor in a phone booth, for example, that's the chat interface. So what it means is you can talk to the doctor, you can explain your issues. The doctor remembers the current conversation's context, but has no access to your past medical records, files, reports, things like that. You can just only say, hey, like, I'm feeling sick, I'm getting a headache, XYZ. Can you help me? And it can probably remember the next time you come in, but it doesn't have any of your files, it doesn't have any of your reports, it doesn't have any of the actual medical data, or it can't really do anything with it. It can just tell you what to do. So again, it's kind of like any of the Chat GPT, Claude, Gemini, all these tools that you use, and it has conversational memory. That's how it works, right? The next level is when you add context, right? So imagine the doctor is still in the phone booth, but you give that doctor a whole briefcase of your medical history or reports. The doctor is still in the booth, but can analyze everything based off your personal context. It knows how to read these things. It can actually give you a much more tailor-made prescription on how you can kind of treat yourself. So again, with the AI side of things, this is kind of like custom GPTs, Claude projects, or even when you built up a whole bunch of memory while using these AI tools, and it already kind of knows what you're doing and things like that. Or maybe you provide some context files. Maybe you do a dump of a file of your business or a PDF, and you want it to analyze things. So that's just you adding a lot of context. But again, within that chat-based interface of just, Claude or Chat GPT. But that's the third stage. And then it actually brings us to the fourth one, which is the AI agent stage, right? This is when the doctors actually left the booth, and it has tools. They can now actively examine you. They can order lab tests. They can call pharmacies. They can read scans, in front of you. They can perform procedures. They can do surgeries. They can do things like that. So now the doctor's been given, actual tools. They can do things, right? So in this case, the AI explanation of this is AI agents like Claude with tools. For example, when you type in something on Claude, it sometimes searches the internet or Chat GPT. That's Claude or Chat GPT through the chat-based interface being given tools, right? It's been given access to the internet, access to these kind of things. It can connect with, let's say, your email or whatever. That's just the agent being given tools. The similar, the same as basically a doctor being given tools to actually perform things and do things. So that's what actually brings us to the final stage, which is Clawdbot. Now, in this case, what it actually means is that you have your own private clinic within your house, which has a dedicated doctor. It has a complete medical history, all files, and is available 24/7. It proactively manages your health, schedules appointments, handles tasks autonomously behind the scenes. So imagine like you have a room in your house, which is just dedicated to this doctor who can do anything and everything for you in terms of just the medical stuff within your house, and it can perform anything 24/7. It's doing things in the back end. It's just your personal doctor inside your house. That's what's happening there. So what Clawdbot it is, through that analogy, it's an AI operating system. Essentially, it's just an AI model, which you can choose any of these, along with like a system, like a workflow that lives on your computer locally, that can connect to any of the tools that you have over the internet, because you can give it access, but then also connect to everything on your computer, the file storage, all those kind of things. So essentially, something like a Claude Code is kind of the same thing. It's just that Clawdbot, the orchestration, the workflow, the way that the doctor operates, the whole procedure is a lot more refined according to what they say. The memory is a lot better, and it's just sitting on your computer. It can autonomously do these things. So that's essentially what Clawdbot is. Now, whether there is a use case for that or not, you can see, and you can, time will tell whether we have that or not, but that should hopefully give you an explanation of what Clawdbot even is and what it can actually do for you through this analogy.